Welcome to Youth News, the place for members of Generation Z to talk about all the hot topics that are affecting us every day. I'm Janay, and with me, I'm joined by Jaheem and Lauryn. Now, let's get into our topic. So Disney has recently announced that one of their latest films, Strange World, features the studio's first openly gay teenager. In recent years, programs such as those produced by Disney and other networks have really made an effort to include LGBTQ plus characters in their storytelling. Now, but is it enough? Is it too much? I mean, let's get into it. What is everyone's thoughts on queer representation in media today?
Well, I feel like with Disney, they've been doing this for a long time, but been trying to hide it, because if you look at certain movies like Lilo and Stitch or Big Hero 6, you have all these characters like Peakley came out as non-binary.
Yes.
In like the first movie, it looked like he was dating the alien.
Yeah.
Or in Big Hero 6, if I can think of his name, it's Tadashi's friend.
Yeah, one of the characters.
Yeah, he's dressed up in the green costume. He acts and he even comes out like there's hints of it in the movie.
Like he's queer-coded.
Yes.
What do you feel about queer-codedness? Like, do you like it? Do you think they should be just more blatant about it? Should they be more natural with it? Like, what do you think?
I feel like they should be more natural and blatant about it, because just trying to hide it makes it look suspicious, and it makes people like walk away from the movie like it's boring.
What do you think, Lauryn?
I agree. I think they should be, of course, more blatant about it, but at the same time really natural. And what I especially admire is that we're really encouraging the representation of the LGBTQ community in the media, because as someone who's in the journalism industry, I believe in equal representation of all people. So I think that it's really going to hopefully allow people to really grow and evolve, especially as a society, because I think for so long, so many people have been so bigoted in their beliefs, and like they'll discriminate against someone just by their sexual orientation. But what they should realize is we're all people, and we're all equal.
Well, maybe this could be an unpopular opinion, but I think queer representation is not enough. Because I feel like Disney, they're kind of spewing this in like, oh, look at this representation. Because I will never forget, it was the Beauty and the Beast live action. They made Gaston's sidekick gay. But what they did was at the very end, they showed him dancing with a man. And I feel like you just put this at the very end in the finale. Why don't you include it in all of it? I feel like you guys filmed the movie and then you thought, wait, wouldn't it be so cool if he was gay? Like, no, include it into the story. Make it genuine. Make it more in your face. 'Cause, I mean, we're showing heterosexuality in all the storytelling. It's natural, it's in your face. But I feel like so many studios don't want to do the same for queer stories and queer people.
I mean, me being a part of the LGBTQ community, it's like you hide everything, and it's weird.
Yeah.
Because if you look at like certain shows in Disney or certain movies, like Casey Undercover, there was a bi girl and a lesbian girl that was in the show. Or even the movie A Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah.
There was a gay guy in the movie, and it was like, okay, you're hiding it when you can just blankly put it out there.
Exactly.
Like, there's no problem with it. It's just something that you should, if it's going to happen in the movie, just push out.
Just make it as natural as the straight people in there. And what's interesting about Disney pushing this, oh, look at our first queer teenage character. The tea is Disney produced this show called The Owl House, which was very LGBTQ friendly, had a lot of main female characters who were gay. I don't know if you've heard of it, but the creator came out that the studio basically canceled it because it was so openly gay. So I find it very funny that they're like, oh, look at what we're doing now. But on the other side of their studio, they're basically condemning it.
I did hear about that, and that's very hypocritical, I must say, too, because I think when we talk about being more genuine about it, yeah, it should be like more in your face, not like at the end, oh, this is our one gay character or one lesbian character. We did it, but we're not going to be as blatant about it because we don't want to alienate or offend people who might not agree with it. I mean, that's the way of the world. No one's going to agree on every single issue, but at least have a fair and balanced representation of everybody.
Exactly. And as a Black person, I feel like it's similar to, you see this racially ambiguous person for the whole movie, and at the very end, oh, they have a black parent. They've been mixed this whole time. I feel it's like very similar to that, like a Guess Who.
It's weird because I love the Owl House, actually. I used to watch it with my little nieces and nephew. And people would probably look at me like, oh, that's not a show for a child. But in actuality,
It's a show for a child.
it's a show for a child. And I realized that there was gay characters, but I didn't realize that they canceled it. And now I'm looking at Disney like, why? It was a good show. It made every child in the room happy, and even the house was gay, so you might as well let gay stay. Because literally, there was no reason for you to cancel the show. If it brought views and everybody loved it, it's the same thing as only the Owl House, you have the ghost of Molly McGee. The ghost is gay. Everybody knows that. And you have all these other shows, but you cancel something that is openly gay.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. It's that hypocriticalness that they're doing. And in my opinion, I love seeing queer LGBTQ plus stories and love stories on screen. I mean, one of my favorite shows of all time is Adventure Time. Have y'all seen it?
Yes.
Yes, and Marceline and Princess Bubblegum, I lived for that gay relationship. I loved it.
I mean, one of my favorite shows on TV is Love, Victor. It's another version of Love, Simon, where the same child goes through have to be closeted gay because he's not sure how everyone else is going to support him or is going to accept him. Then once he realized that, you know, some people will, but some people won't, and that's just the way of life, he comes out. It's the same story of Love, Simon.
Exactly.
And that's how everybody else fight things. And like with that, you have to kind of look at it like, okay, should I do this or should I just stay to myself? Because it's not fair to everybody else as they look at it.
What do you think, Lauryn?
I agree. And when I think about like why they would cancel a show with a predominantly gay or homosexual cast, like I can probably assume it's because when children are involved, maybe they're afraid that it might confuse children or it might cause them to feel inferior. But I would question that. I would say, what's confusing about it?
Exactly.
Because I would think, if anything, it's teaching children to be accepting of all people, regardless of, you know, their sexual orientation, their race, or anything like that. And, you know, if a child is sitting in the room who might know that they are attracted to people of the same sex, hopefully it will empower them to know, hey, I'm fine the way I am, I'm beautiful, and I'm a good person, and there's nothing wrong with me loving someone who just happens to be of the opposite sex. Because when I watch interviews with different people who are gay, they've said they've known they were that way ever since they were a child. But they didn't feel comfortable, like, you know, openly discussing it.
I think that whole argument is people who say, well, they might confuse the kids. Well, you're forgetting that there are queer, gay, lesbian, even trans children right now. So they want to see themselves on screen.
That's the thing, because I never grew up watching TV that much. So like when I came out, or when I first found myself, I was 5 years old. I didn't have to watch TV at that time to figure out what I was. And even though this is not Disney, you have like shows like Steven Universe that's setting a good example for kids to do what's right instead of what's wrong. And they have gay people too.
Yeah.
They have Pearl, Amethyst, Ruby, Garnet, which is both the same people.
Basically,
Sapphire.
all of their characters are gay.
Their whole cast.
Yeah, there's no news stories of, oh my God, kids are being confused. And what people don't understand, based on their logic of, oh, this television show will make my child gay, well, couldn't television make your child straight?
Exactly.
It literally can make your child do anything. You see all these shows of wacky things. Like if every child was to believe what they've seen on TV, children would be living outside their house in the wild from Pocahontas, or be cutting their hair with knives from Mulan, or climbing up light poles. It makes no sense.
Exactly. I think people need to realize that television isn't the all-knowing, I'm going to shape your child to what they believe. And I think the reason is they want television to raise their kids. But I think what people all need to understand is TV, media, representation of queer people will not affect your kids. It's only going to make them happier and feel more accepted. And I think that's a great way for us to end this conversation. If you would like to share your opinions on queer representation in the media, please tag us across all social media platforms at WatchYNN.